all of you are here because you are as excited as I am about the course we're about to start. The course is going to be about machine learning engineering. This is just one of the screenshots from a video from the course. So in this course, this is just to give you a taste what exactly the course looks like. So this is a very practical and hands-on course. So we do a lot of coding. So you will be doing coding along. So in this picture, so I'm implementing something. I'm also using some annotations on the screen to illustrate some point I'm making in the video. And this is more or less how all the videos look like, right? So this is very practical, very hands-on, and you will learn by doing. So this is the main idea behind the course. And this course is based on a book I wrote some time ago. The book is called Machine Learning Boot Camp. And most of the content is a direct translation. Like the first chapter is week 1, the second chapter week 2 of the course, and so on. So the course is based on the book, but you do not need to have the book to complete the course. But many of the past students said that it was helpful. So yeah, that's the plan for today. So we will start by talking about the course content. We will cover prerequisites. We will talk about the course team, just Timur and I, and then we will talk about logistics of the course. I'll talk about the Slack, Datadog Club Slack, and I will answer your questions. So that's the team. I guess it's out of order a little bit, but anyways, so you can see Timur here. You also saw him in the live chat. So Timur he graduated from the very first iteration of the course, and then since then he is very helpful. He helps with creating homework, with answering questions, with many things. And aside from that, he's also an experienced data scientist and machine learning engineer. And then me, you will see, it's all the videos you will see in the course I recorded by me. So in the past, I was a data scientist, although I was more like, even though my title was data scientist, I was more like a machine learning engineer. And many of the things I teach in the course are based on my personal experience. Okay, so many of you actually already asked that. I saw this question many times on LinkedIn, on Twitter, in Slack, in Telegram. The answer to this question is actually in the course repo. I will show you the course repo later. But I just want to tell you now, because it's important that in this course, so this course is about machine learning engineering. So it's very important that you already have some experience with programming. So it's not your first exposure to programming. And ideally, you already worked with, like as a developer for example, 1 year, or maybe you study in university and you have done multiple courses about programming and you have done some course projects that involve programming, because this is very important for the course. Without this, it will be difficult for you. So if you don't, if this is the first time you program, this course will be challenging, and probably you need to start by picking a different course first, the course that teaches you the fundamentals of programming, the fundamentals of Python, before you can attempt this one. Then ideally you know some Python, but many past students didn't know Python and were able to pick it quite quickly. So if you're already a developer with some experience, then for you picking up Python shouldn't be a big problem. So for example, if you code in Java or JavaScript, then Python has a much lighter syntax, and the environment we will use is pretty interactive, these Jupyter notebooks. So you should be able to pick Python quite quickly if you already did some development, some programming in the past. And then the last point is you need to feel comfortable with the command line. It's like all these commands, like, I don't know, navigating the folders, the file system, copying things, moving things, executing commands in command line. So I assume you know that already. in these videos, so I do not explain like what CTE is or LS or whatever. If you don't know this, you still can do the course. You still can learn a lot from the course. It will be just more difficult for you to do some of the stuff, right? But it should be fine. So we can also share, I think Timur shared a useful course a couple, like last year and year before that. So we can also share this in Slack. That prepares you for this kind of stuff. And what is not required is previous experience with machine learning. So this is not needed at all. So we don't assume any prior machine learning knowledge, even though I know that many of you already did some machine learning. So here we will explain many concepts from machine learning in the first weeks. Hopefully for those who already know some machine learning, these concepts will be helpful, because probably I explain some of them a little bit different with code, for example. And then after that, there will be a second part where we focus more on machine learning engineering. So experience with machine learning is not needed. And what I want to do now is check the results of a poll. So we'll stop the poll, and I see that half of you already have practical experience with machine learning, half of you do not, which is okay. So you will get practical experience in this course. And yeah, do not forget to like the video, by the way. And yeah, I'm going back to the slides. So right now I want to show you the course repository. So this is where it is right now. So if you took the course previously, it was under my personal GitHub account, GitHub profile, in the book. So there was a repository for the book, and then inside that repository, there was a folder that was specifically for the course. Right now, the course has its own repo. So it's not, actually, I think the description is still the old one. But yeah, so right now the course lives under the Datadog Club account, and it's Machine Learning Zoom Camp. And the easiest way to go there is type mlzoomcamp.com, and then you will get redirected to the repo, right? And then this is the repo. You will see, like, for each of the weeks, there is a folder. And yeah, so you can just scroll down and then see. So this is the week 1, this is the week 2. So all the materials are organized like that. So for example, you can either go to a specific unit you want, like if you want to learn about linear algebra, so you click here and then learn about linear algebra. Or if you want to learn about, like if you want to see the content for the entire week, you just click here and then yeah, you will see all the units here. Anyways, so since all of you are here, I want to ask you for a favor right now. So please go to the course repo. I will type it right here. So please go to the course repo. I don't know why it's not highlighted, ML Zoom Camp. It's still, it's clickable. This one is clickable. So please go to the course repo and give us a star. So just click on the star button if you haven't started yet. And the reason I ask you to do this, because it will help with promoting the course. So the course is free and more people will know about this. If all of you now, all the 300 people that watch, will go now to the course repo and give us a star. So what will happen if all of you do that? GitHub will see that a lot of people at the same time gave a star to the course repo, and it will appear in GitHub trending section. So I think it's here, trending, right? So this is the section with trending repositories. And many people told me in the past that they found the course through this trending section. So they were just checking things here and then they saw the course. So you can help us reach more people by just going there and giving us a star. So please do that. I was talking for quite some time. hopefully I convince you to do that, but I will just give you a few moments if you haven't done this yet. This is very important for us. And then I'll just take a sip of water in the meantime. Then I already see some questions in the live chat. So what I will do right now, so I will stop sharing my screen for a second. And in the meantime, if you haven't started the course repo yet, please do that. But what I will do right now is I will share the link that you can use for asking questions. So I put this link in the live chat. It's right now pinned, so it should appear on the top. So let me share my screen again. So this is the link. It's pinned on the top. So instead of asking your questions here in the live chat, like Maxim is asking, if we'll have access to this video later, the answer is yes, but please use this link here because it's very easy to miss a question from the live chat. And I don't know why this video is so strange. Okay, yeah, so please use this link for asking questions. There are already a lot of questions, so before asking a question, maybe check if your question is already there and yeah, upvote it. So now I'm going back to the presentation. Yeah, on this slide, I'm asking to give it a star. And now I want to go through the syllabus. So we have approximately 10 weeks of content, or 9. So I just want to give you an outline, an overview of what exactly we cover. So in the first week, the week that starts right now, the week that starts today, we give you a general introduction to machine learning. So as I remember, 25% of you do not have any previous exposure to machine learning. So for you, this section will be quite important. For the other 75%, maybe it's less new, but I hope you will still learn something new. So maybe the first video will be like, duh for you, like boring, but there will be a few videos that I think you will still find interesting. For example, a video about processes, like how you organize a project, how you run a machine learning project, what are the steps in this project. So we talk about things like that in the introductory week. And yeah, we also give a few refreshers, like, for example, if you have not used NumPy or Pandas, we also show you the important things that we need for the course from NumPy or from Pandas. If you know Pandas, if you know NumPy, feel free to skip it. And we also talk a little bit about linear algebra. I think one of the questions that I saw in Slido already, the question was if you need to know any mathematics. Technically, you do not need. It would be good if you if you took some machine learning class or some linear algebra class at university. It will be helpful, right? So you are not scared by the formulas. So that's a good thing if you're not. If you're scared by the formulas, that's fine. Many engineers are, and this is a course for engineers. Many engineers are scared by the formulas, and we try to break these formulas down into like smaller parts and explain them with code. So this is what we will do in the linear algebra refresher. So I recommend everyone to check it out too. So this is week 1. And then in week 2, we start with the simplest thing is linear regression. So we'll take the prices of cars. We'll take different characteristics of cars, like model, make, year, like age, mileage, all that stuff. And we'll build our first model, or at least for 25% or 50% of people, it will be your first model that will predict the prices of cars. So we will do this in the second week. And then third week, we will do something similar, but instead of predicting a number, so linear regression is about predicting a number, we will, in the third week, we will predict a binary outcome. So we will look at a telecom company, and there are some clients of this company, there are users, and some of these users might decide to stop being clients. They decide to cancel a contract and maybe go to a different telecom provider, right? So in this module, in this week, we will build a model for detecting, for identifying users, customers who are about to leave the company, who are about to churn. So we will do that, and we will use a logistic regression for that. So this is a special type of model for predicting binary outcomes. And then we will spend another week. An entire module is devoted to evaluating the results of a classification model. So here we have different users who churn, and then we want to understand how good the model is. There could be different models, and we want to understand which model is better, which is worse. And this is quite an abstract chapter, quite an abstract module. It's quite important though, and this is what we'll cover in module 4. And then after that, so that will be our introduction to machine learning. And then once this part is finished, we will start talking about machine learning engineering. So we will take the model that we developed in module 3, the churn model, and we will package it as a web service in such a way that other services in our company, in our telecom provider, for example, the marketing service, can use our service to identify users that are about to churn. So this is probably the most important week, the most important module of this course, because in this course we want to focus on ML engineering, and we show how to use the models we develop in Jupyter Notebooks. And if we don't do this, our models are quite useless, right? So they need to be deployed to be useful. And I remember that some students complain that this is a very technical module compared to the rest, and this is an intention. And again, remember about the prerequisites we talked about. So if you have the prerequisites, then this module will be quite simple for you. But if not, maybe what you can do now is already take a look at this thing and see if you have any gaps that you can probably fill before module 4-5, right? So this is module 5. So you have approximately a month to fill in some prerequisites that you need for this module. And then we're back to the introduction to machine learning. So here in module 6, we will cover a different set of techniques, a different algorithm for building models. These are tree-based models. And we will again talk about a binary classification case. We'll consider a case when somebody wants to get a loan. So they go to some credit institution, for example, a bank, and they say, okay, look, I want to buy a car, and this is me. So I have this sort of salary, and so on, right? And then the model that the bank uses, will look at these characteristics and decide if the credit should be approved or the user is actually likely to default, not be able to pay back the money and decline the request. And then once we cover that, once we cover the basic models, once we cover the machine learning engineering part, the deployment part, you will need to work on a project. So in this project, you will put everything we learn in practice. And it means finding a problem that you want to solve. And you will need to find the problem yourself. We'll help you, of course. But you will need to find a data set that you want to use. And then you will need to do everything that we covered in the course, but yourself, right? Of course, with our guidance. And you can always ask questions in Slack. But here you will need to put everything you learned in practice and have your first project. Or for some of you, maybe it's not the first project, but you will need to have a project to do a project for this course. And by the way, I'm getting a bit ahead, but this is how we actually evaluate your performance in the course. So in order to get a certificate, in order to graduate from the course, you need to have projects. We don't care much about your homework. All we care or how many videos you watched. All we care about is whether you can do a project or not. And then if you do projects, then you will get a certificate of completion at the end. Okay, and then after the first midterm project, then we will talk about neural networks. We will talk about classifying images of different clothes. I don't know. We want to understand if this is a picture of a t-shirt, of pants, of a hat, or I don't remember what kind of classes are there, but we will classify an image into 10 different categories, and we will use Keras and TensorFlow for that. And after that, we will talk about taking the model we developed, and deploying it into different environments. So first, we will talk about deploying it with AWS Lambda. Then we will talk about deploying it with Kubernetes. And optionally, we will also cover a thing called Kserve, which is a thing on top of Kubernetes that makes it easier for deploying machine learning models. So that's roughly the content. I think this is the last slide, right? And then, after the last module, you will need to do one more project. So at the end, you need to actually finish 2 projects, but we give you a chance to do 3 projects. So if for some reasons you do not have time to work on midterm project, then you can do these projects at the end. And then also as an optional activity, you can take some time to learn something yourself. Maybe, for example, we don't cover PyTorch in this course, but you want to learn it. Then you can just learn about PyTorch and write an article about this so other students can learn from this. So that's the content. We might also have a competition. Last year we had a competition, and so it was a Kaggle competition. This year we might also have a competition, but I don't know yet. Maybe we will, maybe we will not. We will make announcements later. Okay, course logistics. How exactly we are going to do that? So all the lessons are already pre-recorded. They are already on our YouTube channel. And I think I showed you the repo, right? So here in the repo, you just go to a module that you're interested in. So for example, right now it's Introduction to Machine Learning. Then you go to, Introduction to Machine Learning, and then you click on this thing and then you watch the video. So this is more or less how it works. And this is how you can find all the videos, right? And then another way to find the videos is go to our YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/c/DataDogsClub. And then you go to playlists, and then you find Machine Learning Zoom Camp somewhere here. This one. Right, so you go to this playlist. The link to this playlist should be somewhere in the course repo too. And then like all the videos that you need are here, and then you can just follow them one by one. And I think, let me check. If I go to the course repo, there's this course playlist, course Telegram channel, and then link to our Slack community. So everything you need, all the links are here in the course repo. So then in the past, we used to have office hours. So every week on Monday, we would go live and answer your questions. What I found out over time is these questions get repetitive. And many of these questions have already been answered previously in the previous years. So instead of doing this live every week, I will suggest you to go and check office hours from previous iterations. And we will still do this occasionally, for example, before a project, or maybe before this ML engineering module, or before, like if we decide to run a competition, maybe we will do office hours there. So it will be fewer office hours, but we'll still do something. But please check the office hours from the first iteration and the second iteration. I'm pretty sure that most of your questions are already answered there. And I mentioned that we will have projects, and the project is usually, it will take for 2 weeks of your work. So where you actively work on a project and then 1 week for peer reviewing. So this is how we are going to evaluate the projects. You will actually evaluate your peers. So you will look at 3 projects of your peers, and then we'll give you some criteria, and then you will use this set of criteria to evaluate your peer, to evaluate your fellow students. And this is extremely useful. So you will learn a lot from evaluating your peers, and I encourage you to actually try to execute everything. So you clone your the project of your peer and try to execute everything, and try to check everything. And then this way you will learn a lot from your fellow students. I know that not everyone has time to actually do that. So some of you have kids, family, I don't know, work, whatever. So you don't have to actually go through every line of code. You can still check the projects of your peers without going super in details, right? But I encourage you to actually spend some time and do that, because this way you will learn a lot. And I already showed you, I think this is a very old screenshot, because right now we have like 3 times more subscribers. By the way, if you are not subscribed to our YouTube channel, fix that now. There should be like a subscribe button under this video. But yeah, so I already showed you how to find the playlist, right, with the course. So there is a link in the course repo, and then you go to the playlist tab and find it there. Okay, what else? Yeah, FAQ. FAQ is a document that contains with 90% probability, 95% probability, an answer to any question you have. So before, like, let's say you have a question about something, right? Like, how do I sign up for the course? Or will I get an email? Will I receive an email? Or when does the course start? Can I join the course late? Or like, there are a lot of questions like that. Or, for example, the course, not about the course questions, not about the course logistics, but the questions about the course content. Most of the answers, like 95% chance that you will find your answer in this FAQ document. So the link is, it should be in the course repo. Yeah, so this FAQ. I should probably put it here because it's a very important link. And then you just go there, and it's like when it loads, you will see that it's already kind of grouped by weeks. Like, for example, introduction to machine learning, and then you will see, like, if you have a problem with wget, how you can solve it, right? If you need to upload your homework to GitHub, this is how you do this, right? So, and this document is actually created and maintained by your fellow students. So students from the previous iterations, and you can also contribute. What we ask you, if you have a question and you do not find the answer here in this document, what we ask you to do is actually, once you figure it out, how to solve this problem, to go to this document and contribute the answer. So it will help future students, future generations of students, and your fellow students too. Okay, so this is a very important document. So before asking a question in Slack, go to this document and check it out. Yep. And every week, every module has some homework, and we use Google Forms for submitting this homework. So you will, so for example, right now, let me go to, I will show you how to actually navigate and find these links. So right now you're in the course repo, and then we need to go to the cohort folder. So right now we are in the 2023 iteration of the course. So you click here, and this is the URL. See, it's cohorts 2023. So this is where the content is. Oops. And then for each week, we will have like a section here. Right now, it's the first week. Then for the second week, we will add it here. So module materials, I think it redirects you a few levels up. Yeah, here. But the homework is the folder with the actual homework, right? And you go through this homework. So you will see what you need to do. So you will need to, for example, install pandas, or yeah, like when you prepare the environment and you need to check the version of pandas you have, right? And then with that, once you have the answer, you open the form that is at the end, and then you submit your form here, right? So you put I don't know, 2, 3, 1. I don't know what's the actual version you will get. And then you do this for every question. So you answer it here, and yeah, you just go through this form. And then I recommend that you do this. You send a copy of your responses to you, because this way you will later see that indeed everything worked. Because sometimes I get questions like, hey, like I submitted a form, but I'm not sure if it went through. So usually the easiest way to check if it went through or not is send yourself a copy of the response, and then you will receive the copy, and then you will know that actually the form worked. I'm pretty sure like Google Forms are pretty reliable. So if you hit submit, it actually worked, right? But if you want to be super sure, then yeah, you can send yourself a copy of the responses. And then you kind of also have a proof that, if you don't see yourself on the leaderboard, something didn't work out, then you can have a proof that you actually submitted before the deadline. So just in case, I recommend sending a copy of the response to you. Another thing, so you will see here in the forms is learning in public links. What this means is we encourage you to share the progress. Everything you learn, you can make a post on social media that describes what exactly you learned. I have an example here. So maybe it's better if I just go and show. So Tinam, he was a TA for this course a year ago. But even before that, actually, he inspired many people by his learning in public approach. So what he did is every day, when he learned something new, he would make a small LinkedIn post describing what exactly he learned. And so he's talking about a book that he's reading, and then he's saying that I read this, and this is what I learned, and this is how you can access, like there's a link to the notebook where you can see that. And he did this for actually 300 days. So this is amazing. And I want to encourage you to do the same, to share everything you learn. And it will help you in many ways. So it will help you get some visibility. So let's say if right now you want to switch careers and work as a machine learning engineer in the future, that's probably why you take this course. And getting some exposure to, like on social media, on LinkedIn specifically, will help you with that. So people will see that you are very actively learning this thing and you are sharing your knowledge. And I have a few more examples. So for example, Jessica, while Thina was not talking about the course, I have an example about the course specifically. So Jessica, she did our first iteration of the course, and this is how her posts looked like. So after the week 4, when we covered evaluating metrics, she did a blog post and she shared this blog post on social media. So this is the type of knowledge sharing I'm talking about, and we refer to this as learning in public. And we encourage you to do that. And for each link you share, for each social media post, you will get 1 extra point. So we will talk about the leaderboard and points a bit later, but we want to give you an extra incentive to do that. And you will get these points, extra points on the leaderboard by learning in public, by creating these posts. And yeah, so this is how you do this. And I want you now to read this message from Michael. So Michael was a student in our data engineering course, a different course, but I really like his message. So I will give you a few minutes to read through this message. I hope it will motivate you to actually do this. I hope you finished reading this. If you did not, maybe you can just pause and read it. And yeah, so we do encourage you to not just silently learn things. We also encourage you to share what you learn and be active about this, be vocal, and make posts on social media. And maybe you'll get lucky like Michael and you'll get a rise too. Okay, so I think I wanted to talk about the leaderboard, right? Because right now I hinted that there will be a leaderboard. So I will show you how the leaderboard from the previous cohort looked like. So we will have something similar. So this is what we call a leaderboard. So it's anonymized. And for each week, so this is a hash of your email. And then for each of the homework questions, you will see if you did it right or not. Then there is learning in public section with scores. And then also if you help with the FAQ document will also give you some score, right? And then you get a total score. Like, so for example, this person got the top score. So they answered all 7 questions. They got 7 scores for learning in public. They got 1 score for FAQ. So in total 15, right? And then like you can do this for all the weeks, and then at the end there is this leaderboard that puts everything together, and then there is this total, right? So across all the homeworks, across all the projects, across all the extra activities that we will have, the score is summed up, and then this is the final score. So this is the leaderboard. It's just to give you a little bit of motivation to not just do projects and don't do anything else, but also work on the course modules, also do the homework, also learn in public, also contribute to FAQ, also like do all the other things, right? And then at the end, so this is a like it's anonymized leaderboard, but then at the end we will also have non-anonymized leaderboard. Only if you want to appear there, so this is totally optional. But if you want, you can actually, like if you end up in the top 100 of this private leaderboard, like this anonymized leaderboard, you can also end up here in the public leaderboard, like where it's already like you can say, so Aisha and Pastor were the top students. So now you can go and, for example, you can check their projects. They shared some links. Yeah, you can see their LinkedIn. Yeah, of course, it's optional. Not everyone wants to be in public, to be de-anonymized. But if you want, there's certainly an option to do that. Okay, that's our leaderboard. We talked about, that. Yeah, I'm wondering what is that. So here, I think most of the videos, if I open this, actually this is an old link. So we should have some issues, yeah. So some videos still do not have time codes. So time codes is like if you open a YouTube video, so usually like there are these different chapters, right, that help you navigate through the course content. And what this issue is about is actually helping us with these chapters. So you can watch the course, watch this video and say, okay, like at, I don't know, minute 1, you talk about TensorFlow, and so on. There should be examples of this. And then there is also a video in the course playlist that shows what exactly I'm talking about. So your help with encodes will be much appreciated. And I think we're almost over, and I've been talking for quite some time. I'm thirsty. So in the form, we ask you about your background. What do you do? And this is from the previous year. But in the previous iteration, the majority of students were already working as data scientists, like almost 25%. And the second biggest group were students who do not work yet, but interested in learning things. So this is roughly how the profile of a machine learning engineering Zoom camp student looks like. It was very surprising to see that there are quite a few machine learning engineers. And also another interesting thing is what was quite unexpected for me. So this course was actually created for engineers who want to become machine learning engineers, yet most of the people are data scientists. So yeah, it was interesting to see that. Anyways, yeah, there is, I don't think there is a lot of information left. So I want to talk about DataTalks Club Slack. So you, most of you, I hope, already registered in Slack. If you did not, then you should go to DataTalks Club and put your email address here and click join. Right? And then you will receive a link to join the community. And there, what you need to do is you need to find, I don't see it here. So you need to join a course. Let me stop sharing my screen. You need to find, I will open it now to show you what you need to do. Just 1 second. I thought I prepared for that, but apparently I didn't. Okay. So when you join our course, our channel, our Slack, it will look something like that. Trying to mark everything, read. Oops. So it will look something like that. So you will have access to announcements. You will have access to a few default channels. But you can see that there is no course ML Zoom Camp here. I want to show you how to join it. So you click browse channels. So that you click on this add channel, browse channels, and then you look for course ML Zoom Camp. Right? And then this is the course. You join it, and then now it appears here. So if you're new to Slack, this is how you find the course channel. And I think we need to update some of these things. Okay. So a few rules for that. So there is a lot happening in our Slack. So it's not just for the course. There are other courses, there are other activities. So don't go to general and ask questions about the course there. I will delete these questions because it's just too much effort to individually teach everyone that, yeah, this is not the right place. So I will just simply delete the questions that are not asked in the right place. So please go only to the course channel and ask questions there. So you've been warned. So this is the, I already showed you how to join the course, how to join the course channel. So go there and remember to check the FAQ document before asking a question. But if you made sure that this question is not answered in the FAQ document, then please go to the course channel and ask your question there. And a few other rules, like please use threads. So thread, so for example here, so Ravi asked where is the FAQ document? And by the way, it's here in the bookmarks. And then, yeah, Konrad reply that, hey, it's actually there. So this is a thread. So for example, here, there is no thread yet. So you can click on this button, reply in thread, and say, hey, Ram, nice to meet you, right? This is my test account. Yeah, go away. Okay, so this is how you use threads. And please don't tag me. So don't do this, please. It's quite annoying. And also, it's kind of not inclusive. So if you ask a question and direct it at me by tagging me or Timur, then other people will not respond, or it's less likely that they will respond. But if you just ask a question, like for example, like Ravi did, right? So then everyone is free to jump in and answer the question. And already Konrad replied, right? But if you direct the question at me, I might first not see the question or take forever to notice it and reply. And then other students will not reply because they think this is a question for me, right? So please don't tag the instructors and the course team. And I think that's actually the last slide. So in the previous iteration, we had course sponsors. So this iteration, we do not have a sponsor, but if you want to support the course team, you can, you can support me personally. So there is, if you go to my GitHub profile, which is github.com, Alexey Grigoryev. So this is me. And then there is this link, support me on GitHub. You can click on this link and then you can choose if you want to have a recurrent support, or you can just do a one-time support. And yeah, if you do, for example, $10, I'll send you a virtual hug. So it will be helpful if you do that. And yeah, if you want to support me personally, this is how you can do this. You can also buy the book, but with the book will be very useful for the course. And of course, if you want, please, by all means, do that. But with the book, sadly, I only get a small fraction of, so let's say if you spend $50 on the book, I will get only $5. So if you want to help me personally, you can just do a donation, for example. Anyways, I think that's the last slide, and I spent just too much time talking. I can stay with you here for longer because I spent a lot of time talking, and I know that you have a ton of questions. Right now, I will go and find these questions. Okay, so here is the link. And I want to remind that if you want to ask a question, there is a pinned link in the live chat. So click on that link. There is also a link in the Telegram. There is also a link that I shared in the email. Or you can just go to Slido and type this, or you can use your phone and scan the QR code here and ask your question. Okay, and now I will start with the first question. I think I answered that during the presentation. So you will do peer reviewing. So it means that you will evaluate and learn from your peers. And you will need to evaluate 3 projects of your peers. And what I did not add, and this is very important, if you don't do this, you fail a project. So it's mandatory. So if you want to finish a project, if you want to pass the project, you need to evaluate 3 peers. Otherwise, let's say if you evaluate only 2, then you fail the project. So you need to evaluate 3 peers. Like even if it's an excellent project, even if you spent 100 hours working on the project, if you did not evaluate the peers, then you fail the project. If you were to learn deep learning from scratch, again, which course book you would learn from? Well, you can start with the module 7. I think it's module 7 about neural networks. And then we tell you that if you want to learn more, you go to this, I think it's CS224N course. You just Google CS224. It's 231. Yeah, Yeah, this one, CS231N. Very confusing names. Anyways, so this is the course I'm talking about, Deep Learning for Computer Vision. And this is a very good introductory course and quite detailed. So in this course, in ML, in Machine Learning Zoom Camp, we can only scratch the surface of deep learning. So it's only 1 week. But if you want to have a more in-depth introduction, this is the course that you should check. And in the module, in the deep learning module, we talk about this course. So it's more detailed, it's more theoretical. The homework there is amazing. So if you want to start with deep learning, I totally recommend this course. Mathematics prerequisites, I think I answered that. You should not be afraid of formulas. And if you are, it's still not a big deal, because we try to explain the formulas you need with code. TensorFlow will be covered, PyTorch will not be. Question from Nick. What are the benefits of signing up for the course except for the certificate? Actually, you don't need to sign up to take the course. Like it's just for you to receive email updates from us. Yeah, if you just, like in the forms, where the form is. So if you just put your email here, right? You can still submit your homeworks, you can still submit your projects, and then you technically do not sign up. By sign up, I mean that there is this form that most of you, I think, filled. So you don't have to fill this form. If you already watched this video, if you're already in the Slack channel, if you're already in the Telegram channel, that's all you need. But if you sign up, then you will get email notifications about the course progress. How many videos should we watch per week? Is there a plan for that? I think I answered that. So just go there to each of the modules. And then you basically need to, or don't need, but you can watch all these videos. But of course, feel free to skip some of the videos if you don't feel like watching them. And maybe one more thing I did not mention, like if I go to, let's say, module 1, there is a link with notes, right? So for example, here notes from Alvaro are really great. Other notes are also cool. Like all the notes are cool. All the notes are great. And you can learn from the previous, from the students of the previous iteration. So for example, Alvaro's notes are very detailed. And if you don't feel like watching the videos, you can just learn a lot of stuff from the notes of the students. And if you watch the videos, if you take notes, feel free to create, to share your notes online, and then share them on social media, and also share them with us by submitting a pull request to this section with community notes. Okay, I'm not clear on how to submit homeworks and projects. I think I explained that. Do you need an AWS account? Yes and no. I mean, we think that so for some things you need to have an AWS account. For example, for Lambdas, for deploying a deep learning model with AWS Lambda, you need to have an AWS account. But you can do many things locally. Let's say you're from a country where you cannot have access to AWS, or you do not have a credit card, or there is some other reason why you cannot register in AWS. You can still do the course, you can still learn from the course, and you just do things locally. We do not cover AutoML. I ignored your question. Yeah, sorry, happens. Can an entry-level data analyst do the course? Yes, it is indeed difficult, but you can totally do it. I don't know much about machine learning. I want to learn about LLMs. Would starting here not be helpful? Depends. Like, I don't know what exactly you want to do with LLMs. If you just want to be a user of LLM, this course will not be helpful. If you want to know how LLMs are trained, then there is a lot of materials you need to understand to know how they are trained, and this could be like one of the first steps, because this is an introductory course and we cover some machine learning. So for example, the part about machine learning engineering will not be helpful to understand LLMs, but the part where we introduce machine learning could be helpful. Yeah. Would there be end-to-end machine learning development project in this course or just ML topics? I think I answered that. So I don't know if it's end-to-end, but we definitely talk about deployment. So we spent a lot of time talking about deployment. So it's kind of end-to-end, but not quite. There are many other things, but in some sense, the projects you will develop here, they will be like quite complete, right? So you will develop a model and you will host the model somehow, right? So this is like it covers, let's say, 80% of what you need to do. Is there a second edition of ML learning, machine learning bootcamp book? So yeah, there's only the first edition, and if the publisher ever asks me to do a second edition, I'm not sure I will do this because it's like an insane amount of effort. And to be frank, the book does not sell that well to again go through this process. So yeah, if anything, like if I have time, I will better spend this time on improving the course videos rather than working on the book. Yeah, but the offer hasn't been made, so the publisher has not reached out to me. So maybe I will change my mind. I don't know, but it's unlikely that they will reach out, and even if they do, I'm not sure I'll do that. A question from Ivan. Please share more info on projects. Where are the requirements, but best projects from the previous cohort? Yeah, you can totally start working on the projects earlier. And so I already showed you the leaderboard, right? So you can see the projects from the previous graduates here. So midterm project. So check them out too, of course. So this is where you can find the projects. Also, if you go to this to like the previous cohorts, then there is a section about projects, right? So here you can see, and this is how you will submit. So this is how it will look like this year too. So there will be some links like a form for submitting the project, a form for submitting the peer evaluation, and so on. And so in this evaluation assignment, you can see all the projects from the past cohort, right? So for example, you can open this project, and then you see the projects from Dawn. And yeah, so this is how you can check the projects. What else did you ask? The requirements. Okay, so the requirements. Yeah, I will start from the top, and I will go to the project folder, and here you will see the requirements. So what we expect you to deliver. And what kind of criteria your peers will use for evaluating your project. I don't know why it looks so weird. Yeah, I'll need to check it. So criteria are here, right? So here you will see how exactly the project is going to be evaluated. So when working on the project, you can already take this into account and yeah, make sure that at the end, when somebody evaluates your project, you get top score from each of the criteria. If this course covers all the steps, I will be ready for the machine learning engineering third position. It's not a question, and yeah, this is a statement, and I fully agree with this statement. Ravi, question from Ravi. Is this a daily live stream going forward? You do the course on your own, so there will be no daily live streams. Will the focus of the course be more on the intuition or implementation usage? More like usage. in the implementation. So there will be, we also spend some time on the intuition, but yeah, the focus more is on usage. You've said that to get a certificate, we need to get a project and work on it. Is there a link or place where we can pick up a project? Yeah, I already showed you the link. So there is this project folder here. When it loads, you will see it. And then just go there and check it. Yeah, this one. So it's there. But you will need to find the dataset yourself. Can we use Twitter instead of LinkedIn? Yeah, you can use Instagram. You can use, I don't know, what is there, Snapchat, whatever. Like whatever you want, you can use. Facebook. I think some people use Facebook. But I would recommend LinkedIn because, like, if you want to get a raise, like Michael did, you want the manager of your manager to see that. And I don't think they hang out in Snapchat or whatever. So probably my personal preference would be LinkedIn, but you can do it in both. Like you can share it in Twitter, you can share it in LinkedIn, you can share it in Instagram, you can share it in Facebook, whatever. Can you run the code using scikit-learn library? Yeah, that's what we do in most of the modules except the second one. So in the second module, we show how to implement logistic regression ourselves, but then for the rest of the course, we use will it be an interactive Zoom session or just YouTube session? Just YouTube session. Can we complete the course sooner than the given timeline? Yes, but then you, like, for example, you can work on the projects right now, but then you will need to submit the projects when it's time, right? And also you will need to wait till everyone finishes the projects in order to evaluate your peers, right? So during some periods of time, you will actually need to be available, right? You will need to work on evaluating the projects. Can we use Google Colab for the entire program? No. For some parts, yes. For some parts, no. I'm interested in doing time series analysis. Can we create a project about forecasting? Yeah. So here you can, of course, do that. But note that we do not cover time series. So if you want to cover something that we do not, if you want to use something that we do not cover in the course, you will need to spend a lot of, so you will need to put some extra effort in explaining to your peers who will review your project, what are you actually doing there? Like what kind of algorithms you use, what you want to predict, because you cannot assume they know this. So if you go outside of the course content, be prepared to teach what you want to use, which is not a bad thing, right? So for both you, because you won't end up describing everything, and then it's good for your peers because they will learn it. So it's a win-win actually. But again, it depends how much effort you want to put in this. So if you want to just put like, I don't know, 10, 20 hours, you probably don't want to do this. But if you have more time, and if you want to develop a really cool project, if you want to go the extra mile and learn something that is not covered in the project, then by all means do that. Course calendar, I subscribed to the course calendar, but did not find any events or deadlines. So actually the event we have today is there in the course calendar. I hope it should be there. We don't put deadlines there. For deadlines, you can go to, again, cohorts 2023, and then there is this deadline calendar, right? So deadline calendar is not a Google calendar, but it is some sort of calendar. So for example, you see that the homework for the first module is due on 18th of September, right? So this is to give you some idea, and it should be helpful for you with planning a little bit, but it's also possible that some of the modules take longer, right? So for example, we extend one of the modules by another week, right? So for example, I think last year what happened is instead of spending 1 week on the introduction, we spent 2 weeks or something like that. I don't remember. But sometimes some modules can take longer. So don't count right now that Capstone project will start exactly on this date, right? So it may start later. And yeah, you notice that here it's 25th of December, which is like Christmas time, but we give a lot of time for you. It's not just 1 week, it's more, right? So if it's Christmas holidays, then you actually have the entire holidays and plus some days to finish it. So we don't want to take away your holidays, of course. How many questions are there? 54. I'm not going to answer all 54, so maybe let me just spend another 5 minutes answering these questions. Can I earn the certificate without using actual cloud technologies? Yes, you can. Do we talk about monitoring ML models? No, there is another course where we do this. It's called MLOps Zoom Camp. It's also under Datadog Lab. Here we have an entire module about monitoring. So if you want to learn that, you go to MLOps, to the MLOps course. So this MLOps course is more advanced than this one. So this is more like an introduction to machine learning engineering, and MLOps is more like advanced machine learning engineering. Do we need to host our projects to get it passed? No, you don't. What do you earn in making this course for free? Are you planning to make it paid? So we don't plan to make it paid. So for example, for the previous iteration, we had a course sponsor. This time we do not. So this is how we earned previously. And also we earn money by, so we have some sponsored content. So for example, we have a newsletter, and our sponsors support us by, so we help them promote their content through the newsletter. So this is how we earn money. So we don't sell courses directly, but we still find a way to make money. So yeah, thanks for asking that. And by the way, you can still support me personally if you want. I already talked about that. When does the course start? Today. You probably confuse it with the MLOps course. That one started on May 15th. And the course we talk about today starts today. Will we dive into mathematics and algorithms to really understand what happens? A little bit. It's more like on the intuition level. Yeah, you will see. I have taken some of your classes and I understand almost everything, but not sure if I can showcase these projects in course on my portfolio. Well, if you have taken these classes, then you probably had to work on the projects, right? Then you have the projects, and what you can do is you can just include these projects in your CV, right? Or you can have your personal website where you list the projects. And that's how you showcase them. And then, for example, when you have an interview for a machine learning engineering position, then they may ask, hey, did you work on any projects? And then you can say, yes, I worked on this project. And then you can talk about the project. Right, so this is how I see it. But yeah, I would be curious to know actually from the previous course students how they did this. But in my view, is how I see this. You just include it in your CV, in your GitHub, whatever, and then other people can see it. When do we get the certificate? At the end of the course. Can someone with no knowledge of Python find it easy to learn and adapt? If you previously used any other programming language, then I don't think it will be a problem for you. Like, I don't know, JavaScript, for example. If you have experience with JavaScript, then learning Python for you will not take, like, I don't know, maybe you will just need half an hour to get started. And then, of course, like, you will need to get used to this. And then this is like, you can easily do this during the course. Is there best practice advice from the previous students on how to study proficiently? How to study yeah, ask them on Slack. So I cannot speak on their behalf, but I know that many past students, previous students are still active in Slack in the channel, and just ask this, and I'm sure somebody will answer. From what I think, at least if you want to get noticed, is the best way to study effectively is A, take notes and share these notes, and B, be active in Slack. So let's say somebody has a question, and then you go there and you help them figure this out. And then you will solidify the knowledge you are picking up for the course if you help others. Do you need linear algebra to get a job as a machine learning engineer? Well, it depends, because different companies have different requirements for ML engineers. In my opinion, and this is what I saw in many companies, you do not need to get in-depth knowledge of machine learning engineering, of linear algebra to be an ML engineer, but like knowing how to multiply matrices and when to use matrix multiplication could be quite helpful. Okay, let me answer last few questions and then we'll stop because it's just too many questions. I am interested in using machine learning in my tech entrepreneurship endeavors. What would the content of the course be valuable for building an MVP? I think so, but probably you can do like, I don't know, spend 1 week talking with ChatGPT and you'll get your MVP up and running. So if all you care is MVP, I would suggest getting a ChatGPT Plus subscription and then talking with GPT-4 there, and it will probably help you with the MVP. Well, I don't know the details, but I am quite certain you can get very far with just using that. Can we make any group on Slack to do projects? Yeah, why not? Is the Machine Learning Zoom Camp channel created on Slack? Yes. Have Datatalks created any deep learning specific Zoom Camp? No. Is Windows recommended to take this course, or we should use Linux? Linux is recommended, but Windows or Mac OS is fine too. Right? It's fine. Like all these three major OS operating systems are fine. So the only problem with Windows and Mac OS is installing Docker. And if you can install Docker on your operating system, you should not have any troubles. What will be the level of projects? It will be standard one, which are available in other courses. I don't know what is standard one, but I think we talked about the project, so you can use your own judgment to decide what level it is. When the course starts today, will there be a pre-explanation of tasks like an overview? I think this is what I'm doing right now. I hope. If something is not clear, let us know. Can you elaborate on why you decided to put this much effort into a free course? Yeah, maybe this will be the last question I answer today. Yeah, it's a very nice question, and it's not an uncommon question. People ask that. So I learned, so when I was switching my careers from being a software engineer to data scientist or ML engineer, I learned a lot from free resources. And yeah, like it was amazing how much you can learn for free. And I wanted to give back to the community. And I also was a part of different communities. So for example, there is one Russian speaking community. It does not exist anymore. It was called Open Data Science. And yeah, they used to have Slack, and they used to have a course which still exists, ML course AI. So this is a really awesome course if you want to learn about the theory of machine learning. So our course is different. It's more focused on practice, but if you want to learn the mathematics, so this is a really awesome course. And I took this course, and actually the course we have right now, this ML Zoom Camp, is inspired by, so Yuri is he is the leader of the course, and I really like how he did this. He also did it for free, and the idea, like this open data science community that everything is for free. And it was a huge inspiration for me to also do something like this and give back to the community. So that's why all the content we create in Data Talks Club is free. And I hope you find it useful. And again, like if you want to thank me personally, there is a link in GitHub, so you can also make a donation. Okay, I think that's the last question I am going to answer today. So for the rest of questions, remember to check FAQ. If you don't find the answer, go to Slack and then please add the answer to FAQ. And yeah, so I see that 253 people are still around. Please do not forget to start the repo, to like this video, subscribe to our channel, join the Slack community. What else am I forgetting? Yeah, probably the most important part is now you start the course and you have fun and you enjoy learning.